much. Okay, so we're going to do just the triangle fundamentals today. So I'm going to show a setup. I'm going to show one setup. And the idea isn't that we are focused on the setup. It's really, there's 100 ways to get into the triangle. The idea is to try to get into one position, and then from there we'll go over finishing, common problems, countering little bits and pieces that we usually encounter, and like helping you guys finish it. So, Shafticus, let's do our. I'll do it on both angles, right, guys? So don't worry about it. You'll see it both ways. So, what we worked last week, actually, let's go what we worked last week. So he's got one hand forward on my two collars, and he's got his other hand back here like this. And I'm actually going to use this position. So probably what you're going to say first off is, I thought you said this was a really good position, Barry, at the top, but obviously there's counters for everything. So the first thing I want to do is reach up, try and get a nice, deep and high collar grip, as deep as I can get it. And I'm going to take control of his wrist here. Okay? So, for this one, you've probably all seen like the scissor sweep. Up onto your side, sweep here like this. I'm going to use the same thing. So we can see. So from here, collar and sleeve. And what I'm going to do on this side, because this is the one, the elbow that's open, I'm going to stamp my foot here on this hip. This other leg I'm going to bring up, over, and like drive into his elbow. Here like this. And if that clears his hand, which it usually does, okay, if it successfully, that's what we're looking for. Now, the same leg that I drove into his chest becomes the one that goes over his neck. Okay? So let's look again. So, he's got this hand forward. I'm going to take control of the sleeve, nice and tight. Close my elbow. Get as good a grip as I can here like this. Don't like open your guard now. He's going to use that straight up. That's not what I'm looking for. Instead, stamp your hip, knee to chest, and I can feel the ground still gripping my pants here, so I use that strong shin here to kick away, and then straight away change the angle to come from my triangle position here. Let's go one more time. Here. Okay? You all good? Okay, let's give that a shot. That's our basic entry. Let's have a look. Few like bits for everybody. Just about generally, like when you attack triangles off the bottom. Kind of general bits. Can you switch hands just so we can do it on both? Yeah, always on the same side. Just thanks for being awkward though. It's great. Really appreciate that. So from here, when we like attack the triangle, no matter which one we do, okay, there's a couple of problems that people like encounter. They don't even know they're doing them until the guy, until somebody tells them, because usually I just can't do triangles, you know, because don't have long enough legs or whatever it is. But if you're in this position here, and if you're just focusing on bringing your opponent down to you, like dragging him down to try to get the triangle, yeah, you'll get sometimes, but he's got like, he's not going to be compliant. He's not going to easily allow his posture to be broken a lot of the times. So that when I go to try and just bring him down, he ends up just kind of stacking up. And probably if you shoot for this triangle or any other, you might have that experience as well. So what I need is like the weight of my body and the weight of my hips, really to try and break his posture. And we'll work a little bit on that when we talk about posture later on in the class. But from here, I don't like bring him down to the triangle, I go to him. It's part of the reason my foot is on the hip. Okay? So when, I'll do it once quick, like, and then we'll slow it down. So, alright? So look, what I'm doing when I bring up is my hips are coming off the mat to go to him. Now, one is to like shoot and get the elevation to get up to his neck. That's a part of it. But the other thing is that when I come up here, when my hips drop, his posture gets broken by the weight of my hips as well. Okay? Versus doing this and hoping that like your strength will be enough to bring his head down. And if he has good posture, that's not going to happen. Strong guy, strong neck and back, which most people will have like after a few months of jiu-jitsu or a few years of jiu-jitsu. Everybody's got a strong neck after a little while, right? So you need to come up, and I'm going to use the word guillotine, but we know we're not talking about the guillotine, Joe. So from here, up, boom, down like a guillotine, and then attach your legs. So try to go up for him instead of relying on like your grip strength to try and bring him down. Second
is my body position, or it's going to be pretty much, it should be like intuitive when you try to do that. This will probably happen anyway. But a lot of people, when they go for a lot of closed guard submissions, when they're starting, is they immediately think about bringing their knees up to their chest, okay? And there are times you might use the knees to the chest to finish certain positions. But if you do it with your triangle setup, you're really just encouraging him up on top of you. So you go here, and you end up here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, almost like we did in the warm-up, I'm going to make like that position that we call like candle here. So I'm going to think about bringing my knees away from my chest and making almost a straight line between, a straight line between my shoulders and my knees, okay? So that when I go up, I'm like doing a plank, like a bridge. So I'm going to go up. My body is very, very straight. Here, okay? And now I've got this space to finish, okay? Our basic finish today, let's just start, okay? So just think about those two things. One, shooting towards him, going up into the triangle, and two, having your body in good posture. Okay, let's do some basic adjustments and then we'll start up with our finish. My basic finish, guys, is to squeeze, but I don't squeeze, I'm going to turn so the camera can see it up, I don't squeeze down, because that's a finite squeeze, okay? Instead I go like a little behind my calf, and I squeeze towards, okay? So I'm trying to bring my knees together, okay, as opposed to just trying to like squash down. So a lot of times people would squeeze down here, but once your foot like hits the ground, that's the end of the squeeze. So from here, I actually make it a little shallow. And this is good news as well, if you're short-legged. Because when you're long-legged and you see guys with triangles like this, they could nearly go around the guy's head twice, right? And everybody goes like Peter's legs, probably go around Ryan now 2 or 3 times, and Ryan's going to struggle to get his toes crossed, right? But it's not about like putting your foot behind the knee. So instead what I do is actually, because I've got long legs to tighten the triangle, I intentionally don't go behind my knee. Because I don't get so many finishes here. But when I make it a little shallower, just here, like at the top of my calf, it gives me this ability to bring my knees together. And there, that's when I'm going to get my finish. Whereas I go here, I can push down all I want with this leg, it's not getting any tighter. So squeeze together. Here, okay? Make sense? All right. Adjusting, guys. If you get here and you find it, you shot your triangle, but you're not quite over his back. Once again, don't catch the foot. Okay? And you're going to say that. You can say, Barry, I watched that Felipe Andrew triangle with Keenan Cornelius, and what's he do? He grabs the foot. Okay? Never take the example of elite level players to be something that you can do, because they do all sorts of things that's wrong with, get away with it because they're so good. Right? So from here, reach up and catch his shin. Okay? And this, almost like I can tap him without using my other leg now. So it's good and tight, keeps his posture controlled as well. Of course you can catch your foot, you're going to do that quite a lot. But the optimum is to try and catch your shin. If you want to adjust, try to use your foot on this hip. You can use the mat, but the hip is better. Now, catch here. And just get that basic squeeze with your knees for now. And adjusting with your shin and using your foot on the hip as well. Okay, and then we'll go over some other finishes then for squeezing then after that. Good to go. Let's go 3, 2, 1. Nothing tremendously difficult about that, right? So we're going to do kind of like, not alternate finishes, but like methods of tightening. So if you can't get it that way, there's like a number of things that you can do. Like the basic finishes are usually like the same, or I should say the more advanced finishes are the same but with a little help. Like there's nothing like you're going to do in here that's going to be completely revolutionary. The first one is, the simplest one is to grab the head. Okay? To pull the head down to drive it into the triangle. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, he's usually trying to like drive his head up, okay, to avoid. And obviously when he look at the head. I was just saying, it's like the thing from Adam's family. It's like choking and I can't see him. You need to get a bit longer so you can play it back. That's the you need the top knot again. So from here, like he's trying to like create this space between his own arm and his neck, okay, and obviously he's giving himself that little bit of a breather then. So just by pulling his head down, that's going to give me some good stuff, okay. It's going to give me a good finish, good tight finish. The second one which like a lot of people don't like it. I don't know why, but maybe it's because they're not long arms. I don't know. It's like sit up, link your fingers, and again use that squeeze of the knees. You can do the same behind your legs, but I don't like that one too much for depth. Okay, but in general, like there's nothing like you're going to do here that's revolutionary. You're not going to go like, oh, suddenly there's 5 different new ways of finishing the triangle. You're just trying to create extra pressure on the same squeeze. So don't like think about, reinventing the wheel too much in this position. Second thing, right, so this is obviously controlling his posture as well. If he does begin to like try to posture up, what am I going to do? We're going to talk about what we did earlier in the class as well. So as he tries to posture up, he's trying to lift his head up. If he can get his head up, potentially now he can begin some of the escapes that he can do. I'm just going to show you one quick thing. I'm just going to posture up. I'm going to bridge up. And from here already I'm a little heavier. Just 2 things going on here. One, he can't stack me any longer. He's going to try and stack me. See, I'm just going to slide along the mat because it's only my shoulders on the mat. That's really good. And then second, I want his head back down, so I'm just going to do a little boogie on the mat now. Little shoulder walk to try to come back. You alright? Yeah. Decapitate you. Do it back a little bit there. So let's look at that again. Just here. Big. 1, head grab. Okay. We can finish there with the tap him here. Second one. Reaching up to link our hands. Okay. Finger grip, finger lock grip. Third one, when he postures, lift your hips. And from here, shoulder walk back. Okay. And we can do all of those things in sequence. So at any one time in the triangle. We are right there. Okay. Let's block that hair out of your eyes there. All good. We're going to try a few of those and then we'll come back. Yeah. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Let's come back. Let's talk about stacking a little bit now again. So, first up, as a general rule, right, I don't triangle people who are much heavier than me. And I don't like bottom arm bar people who are much heavier than me either. I've got a surgery in my neck, which for one, so I don't have another. So that's one reason, right? Because I don't like getting stacked. I don't like being in an uncomfortable position. You're in the same boat, right? See, it's getting rolled up in your neck. It's not like even though like it's impressive looking sometimes, when you see guys going underneath, scooched under, it's not like it's not a talent, it's not a skill in jiu-jitsu. Sometimes, oh man, he got stacked, but he still finished that triangle. I'm like, yeah, there was a problem before that. The triangle finish is good, but not getting stacked is a better skill to have than that, So when we get in here in this position, let's just go straight to the triangle to the side. So when we get in here and your opponent begins to stack you, okay, from a training perspective, I don't hold on to these if I feel my neck is in danger. I just go, okay, no problem. Go back to closed guard, or even let the guy pass. And that's good for smaller people. That's a good advice for smaller people in terms of your longevity training. Because if you continue to hold on to things when you're balancing on your own, the tip of your own spinal column, it's not a good idea. It's not a good plan. Not a good long-term plan. Even if it doesn't injure you that day, the general review kind of over time. Your head should look like a unit with your back all the time. When you're whether you're triangling or whether you're doing any other position. So even if you're guard passing, I like to think of my head and my cervical spine in particular, like in line with my back. I don't like positions where I'm like that or any other variation on the team, right? So my head always looks reasonably thick and solid. Not look. I wish I knew that 15 years ago, but from here, if my opponent tries to stack me, that's my first priority. Doing this, making sure that I keep that head as a unit and already keep stacking. You can see, just keeping that in my mind, like it gets me out of trouble, okay? And it stops my opponent from stacking. That's probably the best anti-stack advice I got, is to keep my body straight. And once you keep your body straight, it becomes very, very difficult for your opponent to get you, okay? That being said, we've worked a little bit there, the hips up and down, but let's just work a stack counter. The simplest stack counter in the world is the leg grab on the far side. So from here, I need to do this first, like this good posture that I was talking about, because even when he stacks me up here, going for this now, it feels like awkward. It doesn't feel like a good position. So, keep him away from you, and when he gets to his feet in particular, that's when we hook the leg to bring him over. From here, two choices. Keep good control of his wrist. Just pass the leg over the face. Finish the armbar. Or B. Come up on top. And set it up. Finish it. Now to try. Let's have a look from the other side. Good posture. One. A minute or mount to triangle. Is everybody happy over that? Yeah, that's good.
When you grab the leg, are you just pushing it with your body like this? Or
I don't think of it as pushing. I'm just going to move myself underneath him. So
okay.
Don't try and lift him. You can imagine if he was heavier. Just when I move underneath, it's easier. So just think about even if you just think about the angle of a stack, he's trying to bring you back on your neck. So even if you just move your head underneath his feet, already that's pretty good. Again, elbow deep, but look, don't grab his pants. Keep driving your hand under the leg until he's over. Good to go? Yo. Stack, posture, and there's a lot of technical defenses as well. But like the stack to me is like the most dangerous in terms of injury. If you're like inclined to get stacked all the time, you probably will end up one day getting stacked on your neck, which is not good. So it's a good one to learn, just generally speaking anyway. Just keep yourself on the mat more commonly, yeah? Make sense? We'll come over what happens when he postures up now in a second, right? Let's go. 3, 2, 1. This is like posture armbar. So I don't like to have him postured and get him going straight up, but when he does, this is like a little surprise attack armbar. It goes on very fast. So just be a little careful with your partner. It's one of those that gets like a reaction tap, you know. So any one of those I'm pretty nice with when I'm training. Okay. Okay. So a lot of times, especially just as I'm like trying for the triangle, just as I'm about to close, the guy like sticks his head up, drives up here. Okay. And like drives up really tall, hands in the belly. Yeah, there. This is like what he does, okay? So, a lot of times you'll feel that tension. So when you go here, you'll feel that like push, okay? That's what you do. Very quickly, okay? Pass it around, let's go. It's a little change of angle with your shin. So traditionally we're like thinking about putting our hamstring here. This is almost putting the side of my calf or shin into the face. So as he postures up, and just pop across. Okay? See that? That's one more time, but this is when I do it a little bit quick. Go. You alright? Kick in the face as well to cover his trouble. So it's like fast because I want him to like tap quick. So this isn't like I don't have a lot of time. So when he comes up, if I miss it and I try to do it slow, okay, potentially I can still switch to omoplata here and begin to attack here. But he is in a good position to defend if I miss the armbar. Understand? You know what I mean? So if he goes up here, and I go, okay, 1, inevitably he's just going to like smash my legs back down to the mat here. You know, if I don't get that nice and fast. So it's like, we're calling it like a reaction tap. So I want to attack the arm pretty quick. So as he goes up, very fast. Yeah, you want to get another shot? Yeah. It's always good to finish with a submission as well. Like, you know, I can't just kind of go with sweeps and stuff like that. You gotta go with something fancy. Good to go, let's go. 3, 2, 1.